and things that Nanny had said. My personal prompt for the project was Nanny Says. Many of these things came from old texts from the family, my own memory, and old emails. To give you an idea of the collection I was making, some quotes included, Nanny says, don't mow the lawn yet because it won't be green. Or, Nanny says I look more professional with my hair pulled back. Through her own quotes, I'd like to share some things I know to be true about Nanny. Nanny's attention to detail is unrivaled. Every corner of her home had thought put into it. She wanted everything looking just right. One day, while visiting her in the hospital, I rounded the corner into her room and she looked up at me as if she was caught in the act, sitting up, picking a dead flower from a bouquet that had been set on her table. Nanny said, well, isn't this a sign? In some of her last moments, she pointed to a photo framed on her wall to my dad and said, straighten that frame. She never lost her sense of humor or her perfectionism. Quality time and lessons with Nanny could mean a lot of different things for us as grandchildren in her effort to bestow this attention to the little things upon us. Learning to clean the rim of a salad bowl after mixing, weeding the sidewalks of Main Street, Norway, learning how to properly make a bed, and learning how to peel a hard-boiled egg. This is a large part of how I knew Nanny. As I moved into college dorms and Portland apartments, she would always give tips on the small details to make a space look nice. She once had a New Yorker magazine cover framed for me for my new apartment, and I knew that I had to send my dad a photo to have him ask Nanny if she was pleased with how I had hung her art. And she wasn't. My dad replied, Nanny says lower. Nanny was always looking to connect and always from a place of true interest. She would use her connections to further connect with others. When on the phone with Uncle Jay while she was in the hospital, Nanny said, by the way, my nurse Mary has a vast vinyl collection. Please tell Teddy. Thanks to Teddy, I've had something to talk about with Mary. To not talk to Nurse Mary and find common ground was never an option to Nanny. When Christopher was in high school, he applied to be a part of the National Honor Society and was accepted. From my memory, someone told Nanny on Main Street that her grandson had been inducted into NHS. Nanny, though, was hearing this news for the first time and was outraged. Scolding my dad, Nanny said, I had to find out on Main Street? 11 years later, we still hear her voice saying, I had to hear it on Main Street? Anytime we should find out a piece of information from the mouth of someone other than the person we should be hearing it from. Nanny wanted to hear from all of us, so that when it came time for a thoughtful conversation, visit, gesture, she was perfectly prepared. Nanny would show her love by sharing her interests with you in a genuine way. Nanny always tried to do things the right way. She always thought that there was a right way. She would also make sure we knew if she felt she wasn't doing something the right way. In an email, Nanny said, I remember when I gave you sweet Easter cards, toys, and candies. Now it is just a cold email telling you I'm thinking of you. Any gift that she gave that was not the most perfect, thoughtful gift would always be prefaced with, this is a joke, this is a joke. To be clear, Nanny's joke gifts were always great gifts. After her diagnosis, she was fixated on giving away jewelry the right way. I said, Nanny, there is no right or wrong way to do this. She whipped her head at me. She was angry. She whipped her head at me, scowling, and said, yes, there is. She would talk about all of the things passed down through her family that were meant to be passed down to our family. About a year ago, Nanny said to me, I'll have to give you all my pictures because you're the only one who will care. No one wants my antiques, and Carrie will melt down my silver. She loved my mother dearly. In the last few months of her life, I visited her one day, and she was clutching a stack of letters. Letters I'm assuming many of you who are here today wrote to her. She would read some of them aloud and would talk about being unsure of how to reply and being overwhelmed at the idea of writing back. What should she say? What was the right thing to say? I told her, Nanny, you don't need to write back. People wrote to you to say they care about you and love you. In her last few days, I found that same stack of letters on the dining room table and read through them all. Your words were very touching, and I know she appreciated them deeply. Okay. Nanny might not agree, but there are no right words to express how grateful she was for her friends and family. Even for Nanny, who always had the right words to say, her feelings of gratitude and appreciation for those she loved could not be put to words. Just as we all might feel, we don't have the right words to express our love for Nanny. Thank you.